Hello everyone, TN Outdoors 9. Thanks for checking in. In this video, we're going to review some ammo that as of this production date has just been released for sale to the public. Speer, the manufacturer of the Gold Dot JHP, has introduced a new variation known as the G2 Gold Dot. Now some of the chatter on the street is that the FBI has adopted this as their duty load. Now that creates a lot of interest among folks such as myself who have a tendency to choose their carry ammo based on law enforcement testing protocols and street credentials. A lot of folks are implying that this is a hybrid of the Gold Dot and Federal HST. Both are proven performers, so this should be a good thing. Also, the G2 incorporates an elastomer filling in the hollow point cavity, a concept similar to Hornady's polymer plug in their critical defense and critical duty products. This is implemented to prevent the cavity from filling with cloth, etc., a factor which leads to bullet failure. The elastomer extends right up to the nose of the copper-plated jacket. At this point, I've only fired several dozen rounds from a Glock 19 and have yet to experience any feed issues. As for the G2 being a hybrid of the Gold Dot and HST, it does have characteristics from both. The G2 essentially shares the same form as the Gold Dot and jacket type for that matter. The G2, unlike the original Gold Dot, has 5 skivs that are similar to the HST. It also has a cannelure, which is a feature of the HST but not the original Gold Dot. Are you curious how much the elastomer weighs relative to the G2 bullet itself? The 147 grain G2 comes in just a tad over spec weight, but when you weigh only the elastomer, it indicates the bullet does indeed weigh 147 grains. Compared to both the 147 grain Gold Dot and standard pressure HST, the G2's advertised velocity is lower. Advertised for the G2 is 970 feet per second. Using the Glock 19 4-inch barrel, here are my 5 chronograph shots. We surpassed the advertised velocity twice, which helped to keep the average acceptable at 960 feet per second. Recoil is mild, which helps for accurate follow-up shots if necessary. Next, here are day and night shots to give you an example of recoil plus muzzle flash. We're going to use a test block from Clear Ballistics. This is 16 inches in length. 2 shots. First is going to be bare gel, then using the same block, we're going to place 4 layers of denim over the front. Well, you've already seen the results of the first shot. It was a complete pass-through. Also through the first jug, bounced off the second and is lying there on the board. I'll pick that up in just a second. Let's go ahead and set up for the denim shot. Saw it again, another pass through with the 4 layers of denim, and this one is even more dramatic. Through the block and all 5 jugs of water. I'll check and see if it bounced off my target in the backyard, but that one could be gone. Not a good start. This was a colossal fail, to say the least. We're going to try something else in just a moment. But the 2 shots came in about a ½ inch over each other. The channels did not cross. The top one is the first shot. You can see that it did expand as it's rotating through the media. And then we have some fragments. Those are 4 of the 5 petals that broke off, and that is between the 11 and 13 inch mark. And then the pass through. Then coming back to the front, you can see, or at least I believe, that the second shot did not expand at all. That's the lower channel, and that is very narrow compared to that top channel. So I'm guessing that that did not expand, or very little. And then we had a pass through out of the block and through 5 water jugs. That bullet was not recovered. As for the bullet on the first shot that was recovered, here's a close-up, and you can see that the remaining petal is just barely hanging off of that side. Let's try a block of the sim test. This is calibrated to be comparable with 10% ordnance gel. It's what I use primarily for handgun ammo testing. We have some water jugs for backup, also a piece of wood in the event of a pass-through. Now the SIM test is a water-based product. It does contain animal byproducts, unlike the clear gel, which is synthetic. So I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not. Finally, no pass-through. Both of these are inside of the block. Now granted, they could have gone 17 or 18 inches. But let's find out. You can see the denim shot there on the lower left. The tracks are going to be close to each other. Hopefully I didn't mess them up with this shot placement. Let's take a look at these two tracks in the SIM test. I'm just inside the garage door. Got some rain out there, so try to stay awake if you can hear that in the background. Got the expansion beginning about 1 inch. And what I've done is just peeled away where this had actually opened up this permanent cavity inside the block, and you can see we've got some pretty good cavitation here. At its widest point, it's running about 1 1/4 inches, and this largest section's going out to approximately the 8-inch mark. That's not too bad. I think that's just as good as the HST and the 147 original Gold Dot, so we're still in the ballpark there. Moving on out, and I was obviously really curious about the penetration on this since we had the pass-throughs in the clear block. So we do have a recovery on this one. The leading edge is coming in, measured right there. The bullet turned sideways at some point. Leading edge is at 14 inches exactly. Let's take a quick look at that. And in this case, the petals are still intact. We'll get that out in just a second. I'm going to need to flip over this slice because the other bullet is just on the other side of this slice. Here's the track from the denim shot, and at a glance, the cavitation, which begins about the same mark, is not as dynamic or impressive as what we had seen in the bare gel shot. So a couple of questions. Do you think that we're going to have more or less penetration, or will it make a difference? Because this cavitation seems to be not as wide, which means we probably had less expansion, which typically leads to greater penetration. Let's see if that holds true. So we're moving on through here, and I have to be careful because if I look all the way in that area there, I'm getting into that other track from that first shot. I knew they'd be close. So running out to about the 7-inch mark, and then the bullet settles down. We're running 12, 13, 14, which is where we were with the bare gel shot, and we are out to the 17-inch range. In fact, the leading edge, which coincidentally is the base, the bullet turned 180 degrees at some point, but we're looking at 17 1/8 inches. Let's take a quick look at the recovered bullets. First, the clear gel shot without denim. You can see the numbers for average diameter and the retained weight. Moving to the SIM test results, first the bare gel shot. By the way, I don't have a problem with the penetration here or the denim shot for that matter, but I'm still concerned about the peeled petals. Finally, we have the SIM test denim shot where again the petals peeled. If this is part of the design leading to deeper penetration, I would be surprised. Might as well use a semi-watt cutter and be done with it. We only used 2 basic soft simulant tests in this video, so I'm trying to imagine how this performs with law enforcement barrier test. I have been a longtime proponent of both the original Gold Dot and HST, regardless of caliber. I feel they represent some of the best choices we have in defensive ammo. Having said that, at this point in time, I am not on board with the G2 concept. I'd like to see additional independent testing, ultimately the FBI protocol testing, and we'll take it from there. Thanks for watching.